Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Xmen Chod Build-A-Figure. Here we have FANG Shi'ar Imperial Guard. This is actually a pretty good figure. It is all pinless, which is nice. There are some good things going for it, and there are some things that I don't particularly care for much, and there's some things that you can do to change that, and that's going to be around the suit design. So like the teeth or whatever they are. Those are not glued down in anywhere, so they're kind of free-floating pieces. Unfortunately, you could just glue them down yourself, and then you're all good. The plastic pieces of the knees, the elbows, and the torsos, the yellows really don't match, and it's extremely noticeable, probably worse than we really ever see. Now, it's not a surprise when we see like different plastics and how the paint versus the molded plastic, how kind of that works out. So it's not surprising to see some of those variations, but this one has some of the worst, really, I think we've seen on any Marvel Legends figure. So that really takes away from it. And it's a good figure, unfortunately. So we'll talk about that shortly. So looking at the box, we get the Xmen logo there, Xmen logo up at the top. Here we have a breakdown of the Chod Build-A-Figure. So FANG does come with the Chod head sculpt, and it has an articulated jaw. I don't know if I remember that from when the figure was announced and we saw the promo images, but he does have articulated jaw. So that's actually pretty cool that we got that. I'm happy with that. We have, and I might be pronouncing this incorrectly also, is it cr'reee or cr'reee? I don't know. This looks pretty good. It does have an articulated head sculpt on there. It's on a ball joint, so that is cool. It's not just a hunk of plastic, a little bit of articulation. So we'll take a look at the Build-A-Figure in its own video later on. For now, we'll stick those off to the side. Side artwork of FANG there, looking pretty good, pretty menacing. Back of the package, you see he has the Build-A-Figure parts, and he has two fists that come with him. So he has open clawed hands on the figure out of the package, and then we get a pair of fists there. So there we have FANG. So now let's go ahead and get in for a closer look. Okay, so here's an up-close look at FANG. The digital face print and everything came out really nice on this figure. We see different colors inside his mouth. He's got the red tongue, the white teeth, and then his skin tone and fur and hair going all over. Just came out really, really nice. The sculpt and detail of like the wrinkles on his face, as he's kind of got that, screaming head sculpt there. Came out looking really, really nice. Now, the design of the costume, so you have like these teeth right here. It's just a floating piece. It's keyed in right on the back there. I'm not going to pull that out. Oh, yeah, it just easily pulls out. It's not even glued in. It would be awesome if this was glued down. Now, obviously, we could do that ourselves. I wouldn't trust myself to do it. I'll probably get glue everywhere, and it'll look terrible. The same on the forearms, because they were like way up here out of the package. The waist one, obviously, is not really an issue there. But then these ones around the boots, they were all the way up here on the thigh out of the package on mine, so you just have to really get them in place. There. But looking at the different plastics and the different colorations of the plastic, and it's like, it's infuriating with this figure. Like, the elbows are a different color from the arms, the knees are a different color from the legs. We've seen that more and more lately, and it's because of the different type of plastic. So yes, they're using the same color, but in a different type of plastic. This is what ends up happening. The color isn't exactly the same. So knees, elbows, these hips, and the whole torso are all different. Those are harder plastic pieces. I think ABS, and then the legs and arms and stuff are going to be PVC. I could have that totally backwards, or I could be completely wrong. But that's the reason for the discoloration. It's just so apparent on this guy that it's just too noticeable, and it's kind of irritating to look at. That's a nitpick for sure, but it'd be nice if the color matched all the way through. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal for me, but it's just on this figure, it's just so much more noticeable than anywhere else. There's also several different sloppy paint in places that shouldn't be in places. So let's zoom in a little bit. So looking at his left bicep, there is that little brush of paint there. Why it's there, I have no idea, because there should be no paint here whatsoever. So where that came from, I don't know, but a little bit of sloppy paint there. A little bit on that tooth right there. That little spot, I can't even scratch that off. Not sure how that even happened. And then here on his foot, not sure what was going on there, but it looks like Something may have gotten into the mold of the plastic or something. So it looks like a green paint, which is even more odd because why the hell would there be green paint? It doesn't make any sense. So a little sloppy. It's a little unfortunate. But other than that, it's actually a pretty fun figure. We do have pinless elbows. We do got pinless knees. So, you know, he can be fun to kind of pose around and things like that. So let's go ahead and zoom out and take a look at his articulation. Okay, so Fang, his head is on a dumbbell joint, so he can look up that much. He can look down only so far. His beard kind of really gets in the way, so he can only look down that much. You get a full rotation in the head, but you really have to kind of work it around like that collar piece, so just be careful with that. No pivot whatsoever really going on there. The shoulder you can get to go out and up like so. You get a full rotation in there. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbow, so you get that much bend there at the elbow. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge, and that works on the fists as well. Standard horizontal hinge. We have an ab crunch on this guy, so he can crunch forward that much. He can go back that much. The brown, the dark brown, is it black? I guess the black paint does continue on through there. You got the waist swivel in there. Legs go out. Ooh. Only that far apart, so that is not very far at all. He can kick forward really high though, which is good. The leg goes back ever so slightly, not really a whole lot. Got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee, which is very stiff, by the way. You get that much bend there at the knee. There is a calf swivel right in the middle of the calf, but again, these teeth are kind of right where the two paint colors kind of come together, so that's why you kind of hide that and show that's the design of the boot. So you just kind of fit it around. Again, out of the package, mine was all the way up here, like on the thighs. You just have to move it around, and it moves nicely. No real issues there. Foot hinges all the way down, a little bit of hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So there we go. We have Fang. I'm going to do a few different size comparisons, but one thing that I wanted to do, and I guess just depends on which Wolverine figure you kind of grab. I have two different ones. This was the House of X Wolverine. And I got this for a specific reason. And then there was this one, Juggernaut Wave, I believe, Wolverine. Because I wanted to see, oh look at that, the forearm kind of came down. I wanted to see, because at a time Wolverine wore this suit. Now, the figure is going to be way too tall to really be Wolverine, but I wanted to see if we can kind of do something here. And I have this other Wolverine, because there's a million Wolverines. So this is the only unmasked Wolverine head sculpt that I have handy, so we're going to use this one. I want to see if we can pop a Logan head on to this Fang body, and I hope this works. It does, but probably not going to look real great. Technically it works, but what I was hoping for was, you know, some of these, the Wolverine hands browns to be similar or to match, and they're not even close. This one's definitely a lighter brown, so it kind of work somewhat better, but the hands pop on there, so that's the first thing, right? So somebody, talented individuals, will be able to repaint these hands to match, or you can even repaint the brown for his boots and the forearm to match that of Wolverine's, you know, if that's something that, you know, somebody wanted to do. But I wanted to see if that we can kind of recreate, you know, that look. And yes, you kind of can. The head is on there, you know, really loose, but just, you know, if you're just going to create like a quick pose or something, it you know, it works, but it isn't the greatest, but it does work. Oh, and while swapping the heads around, I did notice this. So this is how they get the tongue inside the head to look pretty good, because they're like separate pieces all in there that kind of work together to give us, you know, this head sculpt. So the hair piece, and then as part of the beard is all one piece, and then the face is one piece with the ears, and then the tongue is a separate piece. So it's three different pieces to create this Fang head sculpt, and that's why it really looks so good. Okay, so for some side-by-side comparisons, we have Fang here with Gladiator and Lilandra, which isn't really a Lilandra figure. It's the Silver Sable figure with the Lilandra head on there that came from the... Who did it come with? Did it come with the Mystique figure or the Professor X figure? It did not come with the Professor X figure, right? Man, I'm losing. There's so many Marvel Legends figures, and it's all starting to blur so much together now. Like, I don't even know which figures come with which figures. But I believe the Lilandra head sculpt did come with Mystique, Walgreens exclusive Mystique. I think so. Yes, she did. I just looked it up. So yes, so here we have some Shi'ar, some of the Shi'ar figures that Hasbro has released. Maybe we'll see more. Hopefully we'll see more. I would like to see an actual Lilandra figure, not just a head sculpt and a random body that we could place it on. Okay, so here's Fang next to the Queen Brood figure. It's not a Marvel Legends figure that you see too often. This is an older Build-A-Figure, which still holds up really well today. You know, we don't see a whole lot of Build-A-Figures like this by Hasbro anymore. It'd be nice to go back to get some crazy-ass Build-A-Figures like this, but you know, we're not at that time. You know, we're at a time where we get Chod, which is, you know, a mixture of a few different figures and stuff that we had gotten in the past already. But yeah, that's a topic. That's a topic for a different discussion. But this Queen Brood figure is a very good figure. I really like it, and you can see Fang there as it was thought that he was killed as he was by the Brood. But apparently he just laughed it off like later on when he came back after, you know, the death of Wolverine. But yeah, you don't see the Brood Marvel Legends figure too often, but you could see kind of size comparison and how large and crazy and creepy they are and how detailed they are. Okay, and so the Chod Build-A-Figure wave so far in this X-Men wave, Cyclops, Emma Frost, both from Astonishing X-Men, and then here we have Fang, Imperial Guard to the Shi'ar Empire. Rounding out to be a pretty good wave. There's going to be some Generation X figures and stuff coming up. But these figures, I think, are some of the better ones, definitely, that have released. The Monet St. Croix, once I get to that one, I think that one's definitely going to be a big sleeper hit of the figure. While I don't think this is a perfect figure because, you know, the two-tone plastics really sticking out, it does have a good look to it, and you can pose them around decently. The legs don't go as far apart, but it is a really good-looking figure. Building out some additional Shi'ar Empire figures and characters I know a lot of folks really want. We're getting some Starjammers in this wave, so it's turning out to really release some characters that people have been long asking for. So I think from that regard, hey, it's this X-Men wave is a big win so far. But you guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this X-Men wave so far as a whole, the Chod Build-A-Figure? What do you think of Fang? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU Collective. And as always, thank you for watching.